Hey, welcome to Experience the Miracle Breakthrough Blueprint. My name is Bas Rijkse from GraceGaze.com. Hey, have you ever experienced one of those days where everything just feels right? The sun seems a little brighter and your heart feels lighter, and there's just that sense of peace that's almost tensionable. Recognize that? But then there are those days that when everything feels heavy, like you're wading through mud, and no matter what you do, you just can't seem to shake the weight of your shoulders. What if I told you that there's a reason for that? What if I said that it isn't just some random occurrence, but actually something that can be understood and, more importantly, something that you can change? Today, I'm going to introduce you to something called the Miracle Breakthrough Awareness Map, which is originally developed by David Hawkins. Think of this as a blueprint. A guide that shows you where you are right now and how you can move forwards and towards living in that place of constant peace, joy, love, health, and abundance that Christ has already given you. You see, this isn't about trying harder or doing more. No, it's not about striving to reach some spiritual mountaintop. Instead, it's about becoming aware of the incredible reality that's already true in Christ about the real you. So it's about tuning into a frequency that's always been there. So God's love, peace, healing, abundance, and purpose for you. And learning how to live from that place every single day. Now you might be wondering, what has been holding me back? Why haven't I been able to experience this peace, healing, abundance, and purpose? Even though I have prayed, I've read the Bible, attended church regularly, gone to Bible study, fasted, practiced positive affirmation, visualized, spoken in tongues, sought counseling, or attended Christian conferences? My friend, the answer lies in something that most Christians don't even realize. That is, the root causes of our struggles are often hidden deep within us in the form of suppressed negative thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. And these are not just minor issues, they are the very things that create the pain, suffering, health problems, financial struggles, and relationship issues in our lives. In essence, they block us from fully experiencing the peace, healing, abundance, and purpose that Christ promises and already has given to us. So, for example, many of us carry subconscious belief that we are not good enough or that we have to earn God's love through our efforts. These limiting subconscious programs create a sense of unworthiness, stress, and guilt that weigh us down, making it nearly impossible to live in the freedom, joy, and abundance that Christ has already given you. Additionally, there are often a subconscious resistance to fully receiving God's promises, whether it's His love, healing, or abundance. And this resistance keeps us stuck in cycles of fear and doubt, preventing us from fully stepping into the life that God has for us. Now, the Miracle Breakthrough Blueprint is unique because it targets these root causes directly. So instead of just addressing the symptoms like stress, anxiety, relationship issues, health problems, or financial struggles, the Miracle Breakthrough Blueprint helps you uncover and release these deep-seated negativities and limiting subconscious programs and emotional suppressions that are the true barriers to your peace, happiness, healing, and abundance. So, to illustrate how powerful this shift can be, let me share a quick story. Imagine someone like one of my students, Amy. She spent years battling feelings of guilt and anxiety, which eventually started to take toll on her health. So she was constantly weighed down by the belief that she wasn't good enough, that she had to do more to be accepted by God and others. This emotional burden began manifesting in chronic headaches and fatigue, further deepening her sense of helplessness. But after joining the Miracle Breakthrough Blueprint program and beginning to understand and move up the Miracle Breakthrough Awareness Map, everything changed. As she awakened to the higher levels of love and acceptance, Amy found a new sense of peace and purpose. Her relationships improved, her health stabilized, and she finally felt free to live the abundant life that had always been hers in Christ. So, in the next few minutes, we're going to dive deep into this map that you see here. I'm going to walk you through each level, each step, and show you how it relates to your life, your walk with God, and how you can experience more of the abundant life that Jesus talked about. Does that sound good to you? Sounds like a game plan? Cool. By the end of this video, my goal is for you to have one of those big aha moments where everything just clicks. And you realize, oh, that's why I've been feeling the way I have. And, more importantly, here is how I can change that. So, let's get started. Let's take a look at this map and, together, we'll uncover the path to living in the fullness of Christ's love, peace, healing, abundance, and purpose every day. So, let's get into the introduction of the Miracle Breakthrough Awareness Map. So, you might be asking yourself, what is exactly the Miracle Breakthrough Awareness Map? Think of it as a scale that measures where you are in terms of your spiritual awareness, your emotional state, and your overall spiritual vitality. Okay? But here's the thing, it's not just some abstract concept. No, this map actually gives us a practical, tangible way to understand how the hidden root causes, remember those suppressed negative thoughts, emotions, and limiting subconscious programs and beliefs are affecting your life, and more importantly, how you can shift that experience. Imagine for a moment that your awareness is like a radio dial. You know how when you turn the dial, you tune into different stations, right? Some filled with statics and others are playing the music that lifts your spirit, right? These static stations represent the lower frequency, those states of being dominated by fear or shame, guilt, and other heavy emotions that are rooted in the hidden negativity that we carry within us. When you're tuned into these frequencies, life feels tough, like you're stuck in a loop of struggle. It's that feeling of being weighed down by circumstances or emotions and thoughts, and that they don't seem to let up. But as you move up on the scale, something amazing starts to happen. You start to experience lighter, more freeing emotions and state of being. So things like here, courage, acceptance, love, and peace. These higher frequencies here, they resonate with the truth of who you already are in Christ. Simply, here you are free from the burdens of those deep-seated negative beliefs and emotions that are down here on the map. These are the stations where life starts to flow. Like right here on the top of the map. It's like when you finally tune into that perfect song and everything just feels right. That is when you're dwelling here in the top part of the map. And you know this feeling. It's effortless. It's effortless, right? It's like you're in the zone. It's joyful. It is where you're meant to be and where you're meant to live every day. And it is not without reach or whatsoever. Here's the profound truth. The upper part of the Miracle Breakthrough Awareness Map already reflects who you are in Christ. Unburdened by the hidden negativity, unburdened by the limiting subconscious programs and subconscious resistance that once held you back. These higher states of awareness in the top part of the map here, courage, acceptance, love, peace, and beyond, are your true nature. It is your divine essence. Anytime you find yourself experiencing emotions from the lower part of the chart, it's simply a gentle reminder that this is not true, this is not who you truly are. And when you let go of who you are not, those lower state emotions here like fear, shame, guilt, and all the rest, you naturally experience who you are. Did you catch that? Let me repeat it. When you let go of who you are not, these lower emotions here on the bottom part of the map, like fear, shame, and guilt, etc., you naturally experience who you truly are, because who you truly are is represented by the top part of the map here. And the Miracle Breakthrough Blueprint helps you release these hidden root causes so that you can live from your true identity in Christ, which is represented by all of these emotions above a 200. Now, there's no need to fight these feelings. Here, the feelings at the bottom part of the map. There's no need to fight these feelings or to suppress them or strive to change them. No, instead, we simply allow them to be. We recognize them as temporary. It's just the mind's way of playing its old familiar games. Now, when you allow these emotions to surface without resistance, guess what? They effortlessly dissolve in light of Christ's presence within you. Everything below the level of 200 on the Miracle Breakthrough Awareness Map represents force. Attempts to control, manipulate, or push through life using sheer willpower. These states are fueled by the suppressed negativity and limiting beliefs that we often carry unknowingly. And they are destructive not only to yourself but to all of humanity. On the other hand, everything above the 200 is empowered by the Spirit. It is the divine flow that moves through you as you. So when you live from these higher levels here, you're not forcing anything. Guess what? You're allowing the natural, effortless power of the divine to flow through you. And here is the incredible part. Hold on to your seat. The higher you go on this map, the more you awaken to the truth who you already are in Christ, but freed from the hidden burdens that have been holding you back. You see, Christ has already done the heavy lifting. He has removed the barriers that kept us in these lower states right here. But sometimes we still find ourselves tuning into those lower frequency out of habit or out of old patterns that we have carried with us. The Miracle Breakthrough Awareness Map gives us a way to recognize where we are and, more importantly, how to shift to a higher state of spiritual awareness, a state that's already ours in Christ. So, listen carefully. It's not about trying to become something you're not. It's about waking up to who you truly are. You are peaceful. You are already joyful. You are already full of love. You are health, abundance, and purpose. For example, moving up the Miracle Breakthrough Awareness Map can have profound effects on every area of your life. By releasing these deep-seated negativity and subconscious resistance that has held you back, awakening to the higher frequencies doesn't just bring spiritual peace, even though it's really great. It can lead to more fulfilling relationships, better health, and even greater financial stability. Imagine the possibilities when your life is no longer driven by fear or guilt, but instead by love, acceptance, and joy. So, as we walk through this map together, I want you to keep that in mind. This isn't a journey of striving or achieving. No, it's a journey of awakening, of becoming more aware of the divine reality that's already within you in Christ. And with that awareness, my friend, you'll find that life naturally begins to reflect that higher state of being. Now, let's take a closer look at the different columns on this map and what they mean for your daily life. All right? So we're going to explore the columns here on the Miracle Breakthrough Awareness Map. Before we go into each level, here the name of the level at the left, it's important to understand first the different columns on the Miracle Breakthrough Awareness Map, because each column represents a key aspect of how these levels influences your life. Let's start with the energetic log column, because this one really helps you grasp the exponential power of moving on the map, okay? So the energetic log is kind of like a measure of the energy or spiritual vitality associated with each level of awareness. But here's the mind-blowing part. This isn't simply a scale here. It's logarithmic. In a logarithmic scale, each step up is not just an addition, but a multiplication. It's like the difference between adding another floor to a building versus doubling the height of the entire structure with each new floor. That means each step up the map isn't just a little bit better, it's exponentially more powerful. And I will give you some examples in a minute. Each level on this scale represents a massive increase in energy, awareness, and potential. It's truly mind-blowing. Let's make this more tangible. Imagine you're starting at a level of 100, right here, which correlates with fear. At this level, your life is dominated by anxiety and a sense of survival. Now, if you manage to move up to level 200, here, right there, it's the level of courage, you might think you've just simply doubled your power, right? You went from 100 to a 200. That's a doubling. But here's where the exponential nature of this map comes into play. You haven't just doubled your power, my friend. Guess what? You've multiplied it by 10. But let's take this further. If you ascend to a level of 500, right here, which is love, right, where love reigns, you're no longer just 10 times or even 100 times more powerful than at a level of 100. No. You know how powerful you are at that state? You are 100,000 times more powerful. 100,000 more times powerful as the level of 100 at the fear level. Now imagine reaching level 700, which is also within reach, because this is all who you already are. We just need to get rid of those limiting stuff, right? So imagine reaching level 700, the gateway to enlightenment. At this level, your spiritual power is not just 100,000 times stronger. Can you guess? It's 10 million times stronger. That is a 1 with 7 zeros. 10 million times stronger. That is your power. The state that you would be in and that you are already in, but you're not really aware of it yet. Otherwise, you would be already there, right? But to put this into perspective, think of the difference between holding $10 versus holding $10 million. That's the magnitude of the spiritual power that we're talking about here, and that's already residing in you. The difference between the level of 100 and 700 is really like the difference between the energy of a single light bulb and the energy required to power an entire city. And when you ascend from just the level of 500 here, of the love level, to the level of a 700, you're not just making a significant improvement, you're entering a realm of power, my friend, so fast that it's as if you've transitioned from illuminating a city to lighting up the entire planet. It's that powerful. That's the potential residing in you. Not only that, it's already who you are. Would you like to be more aware of this and simply start to operate in that place of beingness in Christ? The difference between these levels is it's the same of like moving from merely influencing those around you to altering the very fabric of your existence and of the entire planet. What does this exponential increase mean for your everyday life? Well, at a level 100, you might struggle to influence even your immediate surroundings. But by the time you reach a level 700, your very presence, I'm talking about your presence, can shift the mood, energy, and outcomes of entire communities. And get this, it's reality. It's like walking into a room and instantly uplifting every person in it simply because of the spiritual power you carry. Just from a place of being, not doing. To put 10 million into perspective, imagine laying out 10 million grains of sand, okay? It would not just cover a small area, it would fill an entire beach. That's the kind of exponential power we're talking about here. A power, my friends, so vast, it redefines the landscape of your entire life. It's an atomic power. It's a truly atomic power, the love of God. To visualize this, imagine you're climbing a mountain. The higher you go, the more expansive the view becomes, right? But instead of just doubling your view every few steps, it multiplies. Soon you can see far beyond the horizon, something you couldn't even imagine when you were at the bottom. Picture this in your mind. At the base of a small hill, your view is limited to what's immediately around you, right? But as you climb, not only does your view broaden, but at a certain point, it's as if each step up the mountain catapults you into a whole new dimension of sight. And suddenly, you're not just seeing the landscape below. No, you're seeing across entire continents, with the horizon stretching out infinitely before you. That is what we're talking about here. Think of the power at a level of 10 as the amount of energy it takes to light a single candle in a dark room. It provides just enough light to see your immediate surroundings. Can you see it? But everything else is still shrouded in darkness. Now, let's go at the level 200, which is courage. Now we start to just be who we've always been, without the root causes that I talked about, that we are here to just take away, right? So at the level of 200, imagine you've upgraded from that single candle to a bright lantern. The light now fills the room, pushing the darkness to the corners, making your environment clearer and less intimidating. Now let's move up a little bit more. When you reach level 500, it's like turning on the floodlights in a massive stadium. The darkness is completely liberated and everything becomes vividly clear. You're not just illuminating your own path, you're illuminating the paths of thousands around you without effort. Because you're not the doer, you let someone else to be the doer who lives then inside of you, in you, through you, as you. You want to hear what happens at level 700? Okay, at level 700, it's as if you've harnessed the power of sun itself. You're not merely lighting up a stadium, you're brightening the entire world, making everything visible and understood. That's the residing resurrection power that is in you, and that is who you are because of your union with Christ. Isn't that mind-boggling? How powerful you are, the potential you have within, and it's already within reach. You just need to let go of certain limiting beliefs and certain unconscious resistance patterns. And it's not hard, it's simple. It's what we do here in the Miracle Breakthrough Blueprint. So, the level 700, you're brightening the entire world, making everything visible and understood. I just said that. The energy at this level is so powerful, so transformative, that it doesn't just light up your surroundings, as I said it changes them. It alters at their core, you're literally turning night into day. Not for yourself only, for thousands around you, all the time. Without you even lifting a finger, because it comes from your being, not from doing. Or imagine this, at level 100, you're playing on a local neighborhood basketball court, here level 100. At level 200, you're moved into the NBA arena. By the time you hit level 500, right there, you're no longer even on the same planet. You're shooting hoops on a court size of Jupiter. The magnitude of power you wield is so incomprehensible to someone who's only ever seen the small court. This exponential increase in power means that very small shifts in your spiritual awareness have profound effects. For example, living at a level of fear, which is around a 100 on the scale, means your life is dominated by a sense of dread and anxiety. But if you move up to the level of courage, to the 200 level, the energy shift is enormous. You start feeling empowered, ready to take on challenges, and life becomes much more dynamic and vibrant and just plain fun. You start to enjoy your true self, who you've always been in him. And when you reach levels like love, like the 500 level here, you're operating on a completely different frequency. The energy of love isn't just uplifting, it's transformative. It has the power to heal, to connect deeply with others, and to change the very atmosphere around you. Are you getting excited yet? Is this something also you would like to start to experience, who you've always been? Imagine walking into a room, because this is what will start to happen. Imagine walking into a room filled with tension and fear. But because you're vibrating at a level of love, the 500 level, your presence alone, listen carefully, your presence alone starts to calm the tension and bring a sense of peace. And you didn't say a word. Consider the story of Debbie, who struggled with chronic anxiety and a sense of being constantly overwhelmed. So she was living at the level of fear, where everything seemed like a threat and her health began to deteriorate. But after joining the Miracle Breakthrough Blueprint program and applying the awareness principles she learned, Debbie began to move up to the level of courage. She noticed a significant change as she started facing her challenges head on. Her health improved and she began to feel more in control of her life. This wasn't just a small improvement, it was a transformation, as you can imagine. All of this, my friend, isn't theoretical, it's practical. When you operate at higher levels of spiritual awareness, everything in your life begins to reflect that spiritual vitality that you carry and that you already are. Relationships improve, your health stabilizes, your creativity starts to flow, and you find a deeper connection with God and others. Is that something you would like as well? Cool. The energetic log helps us see that even the smallest shifts in spiritual awareness can have profound life-changing effects. That's becoming clearer now for you, right? Now imagine the impact of moving up just a few levels on this map. If a single step up gives you 10 times more power, what happens when you start climbing up multiple levels? The changes you'll see in your life will be nothing short of extraordinary. Emotional and physical pain will begin to dissolve. Relationships become more harmonious, and even your career and finances will start to reflect the higher state of beingness. For instance, you might find that the headaches once plagued you begin to disappear as your stress levels decrease, or that you attract new, more positive relationships that support your growth and well-being. So, the takeaway here is this: don't underestimate the power of even small movements on the Miracle Breakthrough Awareness Map. Each shift upwards, no matter how minor it seems, multiplies your ability to create positive changes in your life exponentially. The energy you begin to harness at these higher levels is transformative, and here's the kicker, it's available to you as you awaken more fully to your true nature in Christ, who you've always been. So, here in the column, next we have the emotion and the view of life column, right? You see that here? The emotion and the view of life. These show us how each level of awareness manifests emotionally and how it shapes our perspective on life. For instance, at the lower levels like guilt or shame, like right here, the emotional state is heavy and burdensome, and life is viewed through a lens of regret and self-loathing. You might feel trapped in a cycle of negative thoughts and emotions, and then therefore also seeing the world as a harsh or an unforgiving place. However, as you move up on the map, these emotions lighten and your view of life begins to change. Makes sense, right? At the level of courage then, for example, your emotional state becomes one of affirmation and possibility. Life starts to feel more manageable, more feasible, and you begin to see challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. This shift not only lifts your emotional state, but also opens up your mind to new possibility, bringing that sense of empowerment and momentum that just doesn't stop. As you continue to ascend the map, reaching levels like love, the 500, or even joy, the 550, your emotional state is characterized by reverence and bliss. Life is seen then through a lens of completeness and serenity. Here, you're no longer driven by survival or fear, but by a deep sense of purpose and connection. Your interactions with others become more meaningful, your work more fulfilling, and just your overall experience of life is just one of profound peace and joy. And you know this is your birthright. And this is already who you are. So it's time to tackle indeed and to target those root causes, right? That kind of hinder you from experiencing who you've always been and who you are right now. So let's finally look at the column that says here the God view and the process column, which reflect how you perceive the divine, God the Father, and how you engage with life. So at the lower levels like shame or guilt, your view of God might be one of judgment or disdain, leading to a life process focused on elimination or even destruction, constantly trying to rid yourself of perceived flaws or sins. As you move higher on the map, your God view starts to transform. It just happens automatically. At a level like love, 500, or joy, the 550, you begin to see God as loving, as an all-being, a presence that is intimately connected with every part of your life. The process of these levels becomes one of revelation and illumination, where you're not trying to earn God's favor or improve yourself through effort. Instead, you're awakening to the truth that has always been within you, that you are already complete, whole, and perfect in Christ. Understanding these columns is like having a roadmap. Can you see that right now? It shows you not just where you are, but also how your current state of awareness affects every aspect of your life. And more importantly, it reveals the incredible potential that lies ahead of you as you move up the map. Isn't this exciting to see like, wow, this is where I might be hanging out right now mostly. But hey, guess what? Soon I will actually be able to experience all of the more top part of the map emotions, who you've always been. So this map isn't just a tool for understanding, it's a guide for transformation, leading you towards a life of profound peace, purpose, and fulfillment. Simply as you awaken more fully to these higher levels of awareness of who you are. So let's now dive into the level column, shall we? So because now that we've introduced the Miracle Breakthrough Awareness Map, we need to dive into the levels themselves. Are you ready for that? This is going to be exciting. Each level on this map represents a state of being, a frequency that we can experience in our lives. And these levels range from the lower states of despair and apathy all the way up to the heights of joy, love, and peace. To make this easy for you to understand, let's think of these levels as different floors in a building. The lower floors are dark and cramped and heavy. It's like being stuck in a basement with a very little light. And on these floors you feel disconnected, burdened, and maybe even hopeless at times. But as you move up to the higher floors, the space opens up. The light pours in and everything feels brighter and more expansive. You can see further, you breathe easier, and you just feel more alive. Let me share you a quick story to bring this to life. Imagine someone stuck in apathy, like Brian, one of my students who felt disconnected and numb for years. Life seemed pointless, and he lacked the energy to even try to change things. But one day, he joined the Miracle Breakthrough Blueprint program and decided to embrace courage. It wasn't easy at first. Courage required him to take responsibility for his life, to face his fears and doubts. But as he did, something amazing happened. The fog began to lift and he started to see possibilities he'd never noticed before. His relationships improved, his work became more meaningful, and he felt a newfound sense of purpose. And Brian's journey from apathy to courage wasn't just a shift in mindset, it was a shift in his entire experience of life. Awesome, isn't it? So let's start with the lower levels. At the very bottom of the map here, you see shame at the 20 level, right? Which is like being in total darkness. Shame is the belief that you are inherently unworthy, that there's something fundamentally wrong with you. It's a heavy, suffocating place to be, where you might feel trapped in self-condemnation. Above that, you see the level of guilt. It's another heavy state though. Guilt is the feeling that you've done something wrong and that you deserve to be punished. It's slightly lighter than shame because it's focused on actions rather than your entire being, but it's still a place of deep burden. Next, here we have apathy at the level 50, which is like being numb. It's that feeling of not caring, not having the energy to even try. Life feels pointless, and it's hard to muster up the will to move forward. Apathy can be a tough state to be in because it feels like nothing matters. Above that is grief, a state of deep sadness and regret. Grief is the sense of loss that can overwhelm us, whether from the loss of a loved one, a relationship, or just a significant aspect of our lives. It's a heavy weight that keeps us anchored in the past, unable to move forward. As we move up on the map, we reach fear. Now, fear is a powerful emotion that can control us if we let it. It's like being in a constant state of alert, always waiting for the next bad thing to happen. But the good news is, fear can also be a catalyst for change. It can wake us up and push us to action. Then next is desire. Now, desire is a bit tricky because it can feel motivating. It's the longing for something you don't have. And it can drive you to achieve and accomplish, but it can also keep you stuck in a loop of never being satisfied, always wanting more. Anger is the next. Anger can be destructive, but it's also a step up from apathy because it is active. It is the fire that can ignite change, but if left unchecked, it can consume you and those around you. After anger comes pride. Pride is the first level where you start to feel good about yourself, but it's a fragile kind of good. It's based on external validation and can be easily shaken. Pride can make you feel strong, but it's not the true strength that comes from within through Christ. Now we move into the positive levels. Courage is the first step into light. Courage is when you start to see that change is possible and you have the power to make different choices. It's the level where you begin to take responsibility for your life and move forward with determination. Now, neutrality follows courage. Neutrality is a state of flexibility and openness. It's where you're not attached to outcomes, where you can go with the flow without getting too caught up in the highs and lows. It's a place of ready peace and acceptance. Then we are reaching willingness. Willingness is the level of enthusiasm, where you're eager to engage with life, to take on challenges and to grow. It's a state of positivity and readiness to embrace new experiences. Acceptance is next. Acceptance is the level where you stop resisting life, and now life really starts to become magical. You recognize that everything is as it should be, and you find peace in that recognition. It's a state of harmony with the world around you. Above acceptance is reason. Reason is the level of the mind where logic and understanding guide your actions. It's a place of clarity where you can see the bigger picture and make decisions based on the wisdom from within. Then we arrive at love. Love, my friend, is not just an emotion. No, it's a state of being. Remember, it's already who you are. It's just covered up with certain stuff, certain baggage that we're going to let go of. It's unconditional. It's expansive, and it's inclusive. It's the level where you see the divine in everyone and everything. Love dissolves all barriers and connects us to the truth of who we are. Now next is joy. Joy is just a state of bliss, where life feels effortless and full of meaning. It's a level of deep fulfillment and contentment, where you're in a constant state of gratitude and awe. Finally, we reach peace. Peace is the pinnacle of spiritual awareness. It's the state of perfect harmony where all inner conflict has dissolved. It's the experience of oneness with everything, where you rest in the fullness of God's love and presence. And beyond peace is enlightenment, the state of pure spiritual awareness, where you're fully aware of your oneness with the Father. It's the ultimate realization of who you are in Christ. A state of being that transcends all limitations. Now, as we go through this map, remember, these levels aren't just abstract concepts. They are practical tools for transformation. Moving up the map can lead to real-world benefits like more fulfilling relationships, better health, and even greater financial stability. Imagine the possibilities when your life is no longer driven by fear or guilt, but by love, by acceptance and joy. So as we go through this map, remember, this is very important. Listen, it's not about climbing a ladder or striving to reach a higher level. No, it's only becoming aware of where you are and realizing that you have the freedom to choose a higher state of being at any moment. And to know that all the emotions here in the top part above 200 is already who you are in being your beingness in Christ. So the journey is not about becoming something that you're not. No, it's only about waking up to you've always been in Christ. So, applying the Miracle Breakthrough Awareness Map with the breakthrough practice. Are you ready? Because we're going to make it practical now. Now that we've talked about the map and explored the different levels, you might be wondering, that's all nice, Bas. I see the potential. I see all the tremendous atomic power that lies within me, that I am already the light of the world, that I can light up the world with the bright light that I am, because of who's living in and through me. But how do I actually make these shifts in my own life, right? That everything starts to skyrocket. Your health skyrockets, your relationship skyrockets, your health skyrockets, your finances start to skyrocket, your career start to skyrocket. How do we actually make these shifts in our own lives? And this is where the Miracle Breakthrough practice comes into play. It's the core part of the Miracle Breakthrough Blueprint program. And that practice is designed to help you effortlessly move up the map by awakening to the truth of who you already are in Christ. Take Emily, for instance. She was struggling with chronic anxiety and a persistent health issue that the doctors couldn't even diagnose. Alongside her anxiety, Emily constantly felt a deep sense of lack, like something important was missing in her life, but she couldn't quite put her finger on it. So she was caught in a cycle of fear and scarcity, always worrying about not having enough, whether it was money, love, or even time. Can you recognize that? But after joining the Miracle Breakthrough Blueprint program and by beginning to apply the Miracle Breakthrough practice, she noticed something remarkable. By simply welcoming her negative emotions and observing them from a place of Christ-centered awareness, her anxiety began to lift and that gnawing sense of lack started to dissolve. Over time, Emily found herself healthier, more at peace, and more in tune with her true nature in Christ. Her relationships deepened, and she just let go of the fear of not being enough, and she began to see abundance in areas where she once felt empty. It wasn't an overnight miracle, but gradually Emily discovered that what she's been searching for was already within her. She just needed to awaken to it. The Miracle Breakthrough practice is not a method or a formula. It's a shift in perspective, a way of being that brings you into deeper awareness of your true nature as a child of God. Now imagine standing in a quiet forest. The only sounds you hear are the leaves rustling and your own breath. In this moment, there is no past, there is no future, just the stillness of now. That's what living as presence awareness feels like. It's the space where transformation starts to happen naturally and effortlessly. It's not about trying to change or trying to fix anything in our own sheer willpower. No, if you do that, you will stay at the bottom part of this map. The bottom part of this map is sheer willpower, you doing it yourself. Here is how the practice works. Step 1. Welcome anything negative. The first step is to welcome any negative feelings, thoughts, or sensations that arise. This might seem counterintuitive at first, but it's incredibly powerful. Most of our suffering comes from resisting what is, from fighting against our emotions, our circumstances, and our thoughts. But when you welcome these things instead of resisting them, something amazing starts to happen. You stop fueling the resistance and you create space for God's grace and healing to enter. Imagine holding a beach ball underwater. It takes effort to keep it down and eventually it's going to pop up, right? Even with more force. But if you simply let go of the ball, it floats effortlessly to the surface, right? The same is true for our negative emotions and thoughts. By welcoming them, you're letting go of the struggle and allowing them to simply be. Here, that was step number 1. Here's step number 2. You observe with Christ-centered awareness, okay? The second step is to observe whatever is happening from the perspective of Christ-centered awareness. This means becoming the silent watcher of your thoughts, emotions, and sensations without judgment. And without trying to change or fix anything, you just observe. Think of it like watching a movie. You don't try to change what's happening on the screen, right? You just watch. In the same way, when you observe your thoughts and feelings from a place of Christ-centered awareness, you create space for non-resistance. And in that space, transformation starts to happen naturally. The pain, the suffering, the negativity, they begin to dissolve because they cannot survive in the light of Christ's presence and love within you. So, this practice is about staying in the awareness of Christ's presence, living as the true self that you are in Him. This isn't about working hard or ticking off spiritual checkboxes. It's about letting go, resting in who you are in Christ, and watching His love naturally transform your experience. Remember, there's no need to try to transform anything, or to fix anything, or to solve anything. Your mind will tell you that, but that's an old way of thinking. There's no list of shoulds or shouldn'ts, no behavior to implement for you. There's no effort required. You simply stay in the present moment, fully aware of your being, and let the rest take care of itself. As you embrace this practice, my friend, you will start to notice subtle yet profound shifts in every area of your life. Relationships become more fulfilling as you connect with others from a place of love and being authentic. Financial security begins to flow as you tap in the effortless abundance that is your natural state in Christ. Makes sense, right? Your career becomes more satisfying as you step into your true purpose, free from stress and strain of striving. And even your physical health, it starts to respond. Old habits lose their grip, your weight naturally starts to adjust, and a vibrant sense of well-being becomes your new normal. That's exciting, isn't it? This is the transformative power of living as the person God created you to be in Christ. The more you stay in this state of spiritual awareness, the more your life begins to align with the higher levels of spiritual vitality, and you start to hang out on the top part of the chart right here. Pain, suffering, negativity, they start to fade away. They are replaced by peace, love, and joy. And this is, my friend, again, this is not something you achieve by striving. This is something that happens naturally when you stop resisting and simply allowing yourself to be. The miracle breakthrough practice is a way to live in constant awareness of your true self in Christ. Imagine resting in a gentle stream, allowing the current to carry you effortlessly towards peace and purpose. Sounds good, right? It's about shifting from mind and body identification, with all the limitations that come with it, into the fullness of your true identity in Christ. And as you do, you'll find that every area of your life, relationships, finance, health, and career, begins to flourish effortlessly as you move up on the Miracle Breakthrough Awareness Map, bringing you into deeper peace, purpose, and connection with God and others. Okay, here is a snapshot of how the higher awareness can impact your life. Because as you begin to embody the principles of the Miracle Breakthrough Blueprint and move up on the Miracle Breakthrough Awareness Map, you'll start to see a ripple effect across every aspect of your life. Hold on to your seat, because this is going to be real in your life, okay? The shifts you make internally will naturally manifest in your external world, and you'll experience transformation in ways that will absolutely surprise you. You will finally start to see from Ephesians 1, God who is working in you as you will do more that you can ask or imagine or can dream of. So in your relationship, for example, you will find deeper connections and authenticity. Instead of interacting from a place of need, or fear, or insecurity, you'll engage with others from a foundation of love, peace, and mutual respect. For example, you might notice that conflicts that once seems so unovercomable now dissolve effortlessly, replaced by a sense of understanding and harmony. And this shift not only enhances existing relationships, but also attracts new ones that are aligned with your highest state of being. Financially, you'll notice a sense of ease and flow that replaces any past struggles. Take Andy, for instance. He had been weighed down by a constant financial stress, always worrying about how he would make ends meet, right? The pressure of trying to control every aspect of his financial life left him feeling drained and defeated. But after joining the Miracle Breakthrough Blueprint program and by embracing its practices, something shifted. As Andy let go of his fears and aligned with the higher levels of spiritual awareness, he began to notice opportunities for abundance appearing naturally. Clients started reaching out to him, unexpected bonuses came his way, and his investments started to grow. The influx of abundance wasn't something he had to strive for. It simply flowed to him as he lived more fully in alignment with his true nature in Christ. That's exciting, isn't it? This transformation allowed Andy not to only find financial security, but also to approach his finances with a sense of peace and gratitude, free from the anxiety that has once so consumed him. When you're operating from the higher frequencies here on the top part of the map, of the awareness, you're no longer driven by lack or fear, my friend. For instance, if you've previously experienced financial stress, you may find that opportunities for abundance just start to appear naturally, without the strain and effort you were accustomed to. This sense of financial security becomes a natural byproduct of living in harmony with who you truly are. In your career, you'll step into your true purpose with clarity and confidence. The stress and strain of striving are then replaced by a sense of joy and fulfillment as you engage in work that resonates with your higher self. Imagine a situation where tasks that once felt overwhelming just now flow with ease, allowing you to achieve more without the burnout. You'll find that your contributions are more impactful and your work becomes a source of deep satisfaction. What about health? Health-wise, the benefits are profound. Old habits that once seemed unbreakable begin to lose their hold as you let go of the underlying fears and beliefs that kept them in place. Makes sense, right? For instance, you might notice that physical ailments such as chronic pain or stress-related conditions begin to heal as you release the emotional and mental tension associated with them. You'll experience a natural shift towards well-being where maintaining a healthy body and mind becomes effortless. Yes, this is really true. Whether it's shedding excess weight, overcoming addictions, or simply feeling more vibrant and alive, your health will reflect the peace and balance that you've cultivated within, and that comes from the indwelling presence of Christ. This transformation isn't something you have to force or strive for. It's the natural result of living from your true self, in harmony with the higher levels of spiritual awareness. You'll discover that life, when lived from this place of grace, ease, and joy, becomes not just something to manage or survive, but a beautiful, fulfilling journey. And as you continue on this path, you'll find that the more you stay connected to your true self in Christ, the more every area of your life begins to flourish. This is the essence of the Miracle Breakthrough Blueprint. A life of profound peace, purpose, and fulfillment, effortlessly unfolding as you move up on the Miracle Breakthrough Awareness Map. And this journey, again, I keep repeating it because it's so important, because usually people don't get it. This journey is not about doing more, but about realizing that everything you've ever needed is already within you, just waiting to be awakened in the light of Christ's love and presence. Experiencing a deeper connection with God. As you continue to elevate your spiritual awareness and live more fully as your true self, one of the most profound transformations that you'll experience is in your relationship with God. This isn't about trying to get closer to God or earning His favor. It's about becoming more aware of the divine connection and the oneness, the union that's always been there. Imagine waking up every morning with a deep, unshakable sense of being loved, no matter what. This is the kind of connection you cultivate as you resonate with the higher levels of awareness. It's a relationship not based on rituals or obligations, but a genuine, heart-centered awareness of God's love and grace flowing through every moment of your life. As you practice the Miracle Breakthrough practice, this connection deepens effortlessly. Instead of approaching God with a list of requests or concerns, you find yourself resting in His presence, knowing that everything you need is already provided. You shift from a mindset of striving to one of trust, realizing that His love is the foundation of all you do. This shift doesn't just change your spiritual life, it transforms how you live your everyday life. Decisions become more easily, your path feels guided, and even challenges are met with a sense of calm assurance. You'll begin to see God's hand in everything, recognizing that even difficult moments are opportunities for growth and deeper understanding. And guess what? Prayer becomes less about asking and more about being. It's about communion with God, experiencing His presence in the stillness of your heart, and realizing that your prayers are already answered. Not because of your words, but because of your oneness with Him. The more you live from this place, my friend, the more you live from this place of divine connection, the more you embody the qualities of Christ: peace, love, joy, and compassion, effortlessly radiating them to those around you. You become a living expression of God's love, not through effort, but through the simple act of being who you truly are. This deep, unbreakable connection with God is the ultimate fruit of the Miracle Breakthrough Blueprint program. Imagine living each day with this profound sense of peace, purpose, and fulfillment in Him. If you're new and curious about how you can start experiencing these profound changes in your life, I invite you to explore more about the Miracle Breakthrough Blueprint below this video. Just scroll down to learn more about the program, or click the button below to take the first step on this life-changing journey. Whether you're just beginning or seeking to deepen your experience, there is something here for you. So go ahead and check out the details or click the button below to learn more about how the Miracle Breakthrough Blueprint program can support you. Thank you for watching and see you later.